Happy day before She-Hulk Day, Outlaw Nation. This is the Outlaw John Rocha here with my non-spoiler review for She-Hulk, the latest offering on the TV side of things from Marvel Studios and Disney+. I've seen the first 4 episodes of the series, so I'm just going to give you my general thoughts on the show. Not going to spoil anything for you, so don't be afraid. The series stars the great TATIANA MASLANY as Jennifer Walters, aka She-Hulk, and is written by Jessica Gao and directed by Kat Coiro. The show basically centers on Jennifer Walters dealing with becoming the She-Hulk and how she comes to terms with it, even though it affects her job, her safety, and her dating life. The show features a damn good cast, including Ginger Gonzaga as her best friend NIKKI, JAMEELA JAMIL as TITANIA, Mark Baker, Mark Ruffalo as her cousin Bruce Banner / the Hulk, TIM ROTH as Abomination, and BENEDICT WONG as Wong. And watch for a scene-stealing performance from Patty Guggenheim as Madison with 2 N's and a Y. But let's get into what I liked about the show, and certainly it starts and ends with TATIANA MASLANY, as I mentioned, as the star of the show. She is just absolutely fantastic here. I had heard some rumblings from sources and friends of mine that I know in the industry that maybe the show wasn't working because she couldn't handle the humor, and I imagine that was coming from the fact that she had been an orphan black, which did have comedic moments, but was mostly dramatic. But she absolutely knocks it out of the park here. Her Jennifer Walters is confident, smart, funny, charming, engaging, and a genuinely good person who is trying to make the world a better place from her position as a lawyer and not from initially being a superhero. She really shines in the scenes with Mark Ruffalo's Hulk. They have fantastic chemistry together and a genuine affection for each other that really comes through in their interactions, whether it's the training sequences or answering meta MCU fan questions like, did Captain America die as a virgin over a drink, or indulging in a bit of family rivalry with each other about who is the best at being a Hulk. Maslany also shines in the quieter scenes in the show, as well as she navigates these changes in her life and deals with the frustrations it causes her as a lawyer and as a single woman, trying to decide if she should date as Jennifer Walters or date as the She-Hulk. She brings the right touch, depth, and nuance and humanity to a role in a pretty broad Ally McBeal type comedy. Oh, and the CGI with her is perfectly fine. There are moments where it could look better for sure, but they do not last for long, and you forgive them because 95% of the time the CGI really works. I also think this is the most relaxed and fun Tim Roth performance I've seen in a very long time. Look, I'm not going to go on and on about Mark Ruffalo. He's great. He's fantastic. He knows this role. He's great as the Hulk. But bringing in Tim Roth as Abomination was a really surprising announcement when it happened, so I was wondering how he was going to fit into this show, and he looks like he's having an absolute blast here. Also, Benedict Wong's Wong is so much fun as a recurring character in the series. He plays the straight man, or the straight sorcerer supreme, to Maslany still trying to figure it all out, She-Hulk, and their scenes really shine. Ginger Gonzaga as Jennifer's best friend NIKKI also deserves a special shout out for making a severely underwritten role work. She's got a comeback for everything. She knows who she is, and she's not unsettled by anything that happens around her. She is a supportive and caring friend who is constantly trying to help Jennifer at her job, in her dating life, and in embracing the positives of being She-Hulk. I'll have more to say about Ginger later. I also like the overall approach Jessica Gao and the writers take with this series. It's much more relaxed, lighter, and low stakes than any of the Disney Plus Marvel shows. This might throw some of you off who are looking for a more grounded and serious MCU show that can have its humor but must also deal with these weightier topics. I mean, even Thor Love and Thunder had some tough death scenes amidst all the ridiculous humor, but there's none of that here. It's all low stakes and a lot of fun. There are some damn good exchanges about what it is like to be a woman in the world, and although I couldn't relate to all of it as a guy, I certainly could understand it, and I appreciated that. There's a frankness and an openness with how they deal with asshole male coworkers, first date losers, compromises you have to make in the workplace as a woman, and there's even a woman poop joke or two in here that pops up. Now, does the humor work all the time in the show? No, but enough of it does to keep me watching. I also like the meta approach the show takes with the MCU. Marvel does have a history of making fun of itself, and there's more of that here as Jennifer stands in for the audience at times, asking questions about certain members of the Avengers and their sexual histories, commenting on the overgrown man-children who become superheroes, and even taking a shot at 2 at her own cousin. But there are also moments with the Hulk where we see the loss you have to navigate as a superhero in the MCU, and those are nice moments that balance out the meta conversations in the show. Now, let's get into some of the things that I didn't like. I have to say that the show only fully works when Jennifer is in the picture. The B-plot storylines without her lack depth They're frivolous and even insultingly simple at times, and it left me wanting. Drew Matthews' Dennis character gets a lot of the B-story stuff, and it's just not good or funny. He's a one-dimensional and kind of useless character whose entitled and arrogant manhood is used as a punching bag for all the issues women have with men, which I totally understand. It is absolutely valid. I just was hoping for a bit more nuance here, since the rest of the show does a great job at presenting other male characters who have done questionable things in the past and gives them a bit more nuance that challenges us as a viewer. It's just that it's so on the nose with Dennis that it feels like it's punching through his nose to hammer us over the head with it. Also, the show defaults to a creature of the week approach with little to no payoff. I mean, we get an Asgardian shape-shifting elf that makes no sense, a magician character in episode 4, which is easily the weakest of the 4 episodes, that is just boring, and a gang of guys with alien tech that want to take down the She-Hulk just because. So it's just kind of weird in the way they're presented, and it doesn't really work for me. Another thing I didn't like in the show is some of the broad characterizations that they default to in the comedy. I already mentioned the Dennis character, but I'll also add Jennifer's family, who come across as caricatures in a bad sitcom instead of characters in a good one. Even Mark Lynn-Baker, who I love from Perfect Strangers, feels wasted here, as he's given some tone-deaf lines to say as her dad. Also, the fourth wall breaking, which is such a fun thing in the comics, just feels kind of shoved in or tacked on a majority of the time instead of feeling organic within the scenes. That's not Maslany's fault, by the way. That falls on the director or the editor to make that work. Now, there are a few moments where the fourth wall breaking does work, but it only serves to show you how badly the other times that it doesn't work feel when you're watching the show. Anyway, although I do like the lighter approach here, I would have just liked some better, more grounded setups for the comedy and the fourth wall breaking. And finally, I really need to talk about this. I feel like the show does Ginger Gonzaga dirty as Nikki. She's simply presented as Jennifer Walters' best friend, but we get no history with her and Jennifer or how they met. Also, she's a paralegal to Jennifer, which puts her underneath Jennifer in terms of the power structure at her job. Why isn't she a fellow lawyer and her equal? Also, we don't see her react to Jennifer's changes. Every time a superhuman character comes in the room, she leaves. She does not have a separate storyline so we can get to know her more. She's just the sassy brown friend replacing the sassy black friend cliche that we've seen in other shows, who is there to prop up and humanize the white lead. It's such a crime to see this in this show that is about uplifting women and showing a feminist point of view, and to see this from a female writer of color was especially disappointing. But Ginger Gonzaga shines through, as I said, in spite of it, and that speaks volumes about her talent. Overall, I'd give She-Hulk over the first 4 episodes 3.5 cowboy hats out of 5. And that has a lot to do with the fantastic work of Tatiana Maslany. She has genuine chemistry with everybody in the series and really carries this show by making you care about Jennifer Walters as a person. Her true determination to make this unexpected change work in her life, her struggles to figure out which version of herself she wants to be, and her battle to not be a superhero while also being unable to resist being a superhero makes you want to cheer for her, and you fall in love with her as a character. Also, all the fun cameos and recurring MCU characters make for some enjoyable moments on the show and leave me interested to see where this journey is taking us. All right, well, that's my non-spoiler review for the first 4 episodes of She-Hulk. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments section below. Remember to hit that like button and share it on your social media. Also, subscribe to the channel down below and hit that bell button so you see when we're dropping all the content we do here on the Outlaw Nation. Come and follow or subscribe to me on Twitch, the Outlaw Nation, all one word. And if you want to support all we got going on here on the Outlaw Nation, head on over to the Outlaw Nation Patreon, patreon.com/John Rocha. All right, y'all, take care of yourselves. Be well. She-Hulk drops tonight. And I'll talk to you next time with another brand new non-spoiler review here on the Outlaw Nation.